All right, Northcentral Infused. It is. We are recording this on April 28th, but it is. This is for May. I'm just going to throw it to you guys. It seems like because we've got so much happening this month, and then things might be changing throughout the course of May. But as usual, we have our CEO and General Manager Kevin Doddridge.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Our Director of Safety and Loss Control, J.D. Cox.
Great to be here.
And our Director of Marketing and Economic Development, Michael Bellapani.
Hey, Justin.
Hey. So, Kevin, I'm just going to toss it to you and let you get your message out there. I know that there's a lot of stuff happening with...
Well, yeah, and it's a lot of the same, but it's still important. We, of course, the big thing is the COVID-19 virus and how people are reacting. So at North Central, we're staying consistent in what we were doing 3 weeks ago. We've identified as the greatest risk for exposure is going to be customer contact in our lobby. So our lobby remains closed. We've identified our greatest risk to the operations of the cooperative as being our linemen and troubleshooters, the servicemen, etc., those people getting sick. So we've continued to a certain degree staggering those shifts. We've reached a point where we worked from home a little bit, and we're trying to bring those people back in and get something that resembles normal in the office, and that's something that we're just going to monitor week to week. Mm-hmm. But for our member, we appreciate your patience. We'll probably keep the lobby closed for the foreseeable future. I can't imagine it being open before May 11th. And just be patient with us, and there's information on our website on how to pay bills, and we're going to do our best to get new services run as that is required. We've had some challenges with the storms. Fortunately, we haven't gotten direct hits. We really doubled up on our maintenance program last year, so some of the winds that we received a couple of weeks ago, we withstood them real well. We did do some storm relief work a little bit south of us, and as you know, they've had the tornadoes over and over again in South Mississippi. And that's presented a challenge as far as mutual aid and us trying to help them, trying to make sure that we're avoiding contamination. And I really think the cooperatives in South Mississippi have done an incredible job with their restoration, seeing some of the limitations that they're working in.
And we sent a crew not too long ago out to help some of those areas.
We did. We worked in an area between Oakland, Mississippi and Charleston, Mississippi, and what we tried to do was make sure that we kept a existing crew together and not split them up, and that we allowed them to leave here, which was awfully early in the morning. They were leaving between 4:30 and 5 every morning, going to that area, working, staying together, not working with the other crews. And then when the workday was over, the cooperatives down there were nice enough to let them leave between 7 and 8, and they would just come all the way back. Yeah. So we kind of eliminated some of the cross-contamination by shared meals, hotel rooms, etc. So we were glad we were able to do it, and regretted that we couldn't do more, but we all kind of put our heads together as co-op CEOs, and I think it was a pretty good plan we had in place. And restoration probably didn't come as fast as it normally would, but at the end of the day, we think a pretty good job was done. And hopefully we can just keep some of these storms out of here for a while.
Yeah.
Another challenge that we're having is we're happy when the state asked us to enact a 60-day moratorium on disconnecting people for not paying their power. We understand that if you're going to ask people to shelter at home, we encourage them to stay at home, that home needs to be somewhat comfortable, and you don't need to be without power. That's a burden that, especially if you've lost your job in furlough or layoff. So we are complying with that moratorium. We think it's a good idea as well. There are certain challenges though. We're seeing a substantial decrease in cash flow being measured to the tune of several hundreds of thousands of dollars, and for a cooperative our size, that's a material amount. So we understand the people that feel as though it would really compromise them right now to pay their bill, and legally they don't have to. But we would encourage people to try to pay what they could, because if we come out of this moratorium in May, we're going to start entering, for the residential member, we're going to enter that air conditioning season when traditionally here, the bills start going up.
Yeah.
So we will work with people on how to get that caught back up when the time comes, but I hate for everything to compound on our members, and they're looking at several months' worth of bills owed. They're going into the air conditioning season, the bills are going up, and find themselves just in an impossible situation. So we hope that it doesn't cause confusion, but we're still continuing to send out what we call the late notice to remind people if they have not paid, just so they'll know there is amount due, and they may need to try to whittle it down if they can. Also, if Congress decides to approve an expansion of the LIHEAP program, which helps people pay these bills, oftentimes that late notice, that past due notice, is needed to apply for those funds. So they will need. I'd encourage them to hang on to those in the event that happens. Going forward, we're just dealing with a lot of uncertainty. Congress is going to come together next week and talk about another $1 trillion round of relief, and we're going to keep a close eye on that because there may be several versions of a bill, and they both may contain a federal moratorium on disconnects that will go beyond the May 15th date. Mm-hmm. Some might include all industry, residential homes, and may suspend all types of debt or collection for fees owed. Another version may apply just to residential services. So we're going to kind of have to take a hard look at that and try to measure just how it's going to affect us. We're going to manage it. We are a co-op that brings in roughly $110 million in annual revenues, but our net income at the end of the fiscal year is usually somewhere around $1 million. So you can see you're looking in the minus 1% area almost. So it doesn't take much to erode into that. And if you take 2 or 3 industries who may not pay their bills totaling hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can see where things could get tight. But we're going to manage it. We huddle up as a staff and board and talk about what we think is coming down the road, try to get our crystal ball out and see if we can handle it the best way that we can. We're moving into a budget time of year, and staff will probably get kind of frustrated going through the budget this year because we still have so many unknowns. Fortunately, we're not like some of the cooperatives in South Mississippi that are losing load through oil and gas businesses, and they're just seeing their sales just decline dramatically. But we are, like I said, we're still going to look at some cash flow issues going through the summer. I mentioned fiber, and we have always said we're going to be deliberate in our fiber deployment, and we're going to continue that. Fiber costs a significant amount of money to design, engineer, do the make-ready work on our existing structures to accommodate the fiber, and then to install the fiber itself. So we'll manage those cash flows. Running fiber is something that we want to do because we see a tremendous amount of benefit to the customer as far as being able to watch their load, their billings, automated metering. But if we get to the point to where it's going to be a constraint, then we may have to pump the brakes a little bit on that. Mm-hmm. Don't want to slow it down too much, but we're going to try to make real prudent decisions. We'll probably have some updates on that. And I'll commend Michael while he's here with us and all y'all that work with Today in Mississippi, a great publication that has great information. I was informed, it has probably the greatest circulation of any paper in the state, and the great thing is it's all based in the state, mm-hmm. and it's all written by local people, so it's a great source of news. Recently, I was kind of disappointed to hear of a local elected official who said that often when he got his, he threw it away. And I looked at the statistics, and according to statistics that we get and surveys done, we've got over a 75% readership in there. Right. And that's where you get your local. That's where you get local things pertinent to the cooperative. So if you throw it away, you don't know what you're missing. There's some good content in there, and we got a new, nice looking cover to go to it as well. So. Make sure that'll be coming out. I guess that'll be.
I hit mine. Mine hit the mailbox today.
Great.
Yeah, the digital issue's been out. We whenever the digital issue hits, we post it on social media and on our website. So you're able to, if you're impatient and you're not waiting for it to hit the mailbox, you can find it there. But there's some good stuff about our graduating seniors and levelized billing, and we won an award this year.
We certainly did.
Yes,
it's a great publication. So when you get it, I'll ask you to, it's not bad laying on the coffee table. Pick it up and read it too.
Yeah. So I guess moving on to this, talking since COVID-19 is such a big issue and everything with safety, and we've been talking about it. I'm going to just, it seems natural to go over to you, JD, and talk about the safety for May and what's going to be happening these next few weeks. So.
Well, I certainly do appreciate it. Glad to be here today. And
we all are.
Seems like the COVID-19 has definitely taken over and dominated a lot of people's time.
And there's only so many times you can watch Tiger King during this time. Yeah.
I've not seen it once.
So you're one of the few.
But I am happy to say that, using the best information that we could, I feel very positive about the response that we had to the COVID-19 situation here. And I think we handled everything in a very factual, diligent way. I think those facts are bearing out in how our employees are performing during this time. So very thankful for the program that we put in place early on. Kevin made it very clear from the very beginning that the most important thing to us was the safety of our members, our employees, and keeping the lights on. And I think we have followed through with his wishes as it relates to that, so I'm very happy to report that. But kind of switching gears away from COVID-19, normally, May around here is just an extremely busy month. We have a lot of different things going on. COVID-19 has definitely affected that. But one thing I think we're really going to be able to stress and do a good job on this year as well is May is National Electric Safety Month. So week by week on our website, social media, things like that, we'll have a lot of good electrical safety information. We'll start out, of course, with home safety, get into work safety, disaster safety, and always kid safety. That's always very important to us. And the Electrical Safety Foundation, they really put out a lot of great material for organizations such as North Central to use. So we're very appreciative of the information that they allow us to use and give to our members. When we talk about electrical safety, Kevin had alluded to the fact that we'd had a lot of tornadoes really come through. I think one report I saw was that the tornado they had in South Mississippi was the third largest on record. So some very serious storms moving through. They've had a tremendous amount of damage. I think the cooperatives in that area have performed very well. When you consider 187 people a year in the workplace in the United States die from electrical injuries. Now that's certainly, and I'm glad to say this, that's certainly not the highest number of any industry. But what is a serious number is out of every 13 electrical injuries, there's a fatality. So what that tells you is that the injuries that we sustain are very serious. And so we're really trying to stress, safety during this time. A lot of storms are going through. And I'd just like to talk and just say, to the linemen out there, people that are working in the construction industry, how important lockout tagout is. Isolate, test, use those personal grounds, protect yourself, because remember, at the end of the day, we're all just trying to get back home to the people that we love. So remember, May, National Electric Safety Month. Just look to social media, the website, got a lot of good information coming out. Last thing, in our area, people are ready to get out of the house. They got the chainsaw sharpened. They got all the aluminum ladders out. Be careful around the house when you're trimming trees. Look for power lines. If there's any question whatsoever that you may have about whether something is a power line or not, call us. And we will send somebody out there to let you know whether it's a power line or not. But please, until we get out there, assume that it is, and please stay away from it.
What's the minimum clearance that we say for power line? 6 feet?
Well, we always say at least 10 feet for things of that nature.
6 feet for social distancing. Sorry.
That's exactly, yes. 6 feet for social distancing, 10 feet for power lines, and if you're operating any type of equipment or anything like that, we say 35 feet. So just some good reminders. Going to be a lot of people outside doing a lot of good things and enjoying the outside. Look forward to it, but just please be careful.
And I guess it's hard to talk about all the events that are happening because it just seems like everything's being canceled. I saw today that there's a few more events, and in our area that have been
Yeah,
canceled.
everything is fluid. That's what I like to say right
I've not
now.
had a Zoom call canceled yet.
You wished for it, though,
They've
right?
doubled up.
Yeah, they double down that. But yeah, I mean, there are events and a lot of fundraisers. Golf tournaments in our area are big, and those during the month of April and May, a lot of them are being punted later into the summer, and you know, it affects everybody from the sponsors to the participants. But we got, I mean, there's plenty of stuff that is scheduled to come on starting in May, hopefully. One of those being the Olive Branch Chamber Golf Tournament, the James Lunsford Memorial Tournament. That'll be at the Olive Branch Country Club on May 21st. So it could possibly be rescheduled into June, but if you go to the Chamber's website, that information should be on there. But to reassure folks, I mean, we get a lot of negative news lately, and particularly about the economy, but I do want to let our listeners know that economic activity in our area in DeSoto and Marshall counties has not checked up. In fact, it's actually increased. We're having more companies looking to locate here. I expect to have an announcement hopefully in the next few weeks on one of those, but it seems like every day we've got some submissions on new projects that are circling our area. So the continued growth is very promising. Going back to talking about the coronavirus, there have been some news releases from TVA, I guess, on a community care fund that has been established, and that fund was established with the intent of partnering with local power companies and local nonprofits to meet the needs of our communities that we serve, and that's one of our big things as a cooperative. And to let folks know, North Central intends on participating in that program if approved for it. We have applied for a grant, and that grant will be matching funds with TVA, and we'll have a pool of money in which we'll partner with the Community Foundation of Northwest Mississippi to help distribute that money to local nonprofits and organizations to help meet the needs. The biggest ones right now, from what I'm hearing, you know, obviously, food insecurity. You have a lot of students that unfortunately get some of their only meals at school, and they're not at school right now. So our food banks need propped up. The emergency aid, the next chip that, so to speak, to fall would be evictions, people who are renting and being evicted from their homes. And hopefully that's not going to be the case, but we need to plan for it if it is. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be some emergency aid needed for that. And job placement and training. Those that have lost their jobs and may need to be reemployed. So we want to be able to help organizations achieve job placement and training opportunities for those folks. And lastly, education. And I've learned this firsthand being a homeschooler, so to speak now. We don't want these children that are at home, distance learning to fall.
You don't want your children at home, I got you.
To fall. We don't want them to fall behind. After this, no. But we don't want them to fall behind because they weren't in school in person. So we're going to look for opportunities to help prop them up with tutoring services, computer labs, things like that, to kind of get them ready for the next grade, so to speak. So hopefully we'll have more information about that soon. Our committee made our selections this year for our 8 scholarship winners. We North Central funds $1,500 scholarships, 8 of them, for area students, and we had some great applications. So stay tuned to our social media and Today in Mississippi for an announcement on those winners. They have been notified, and we'll have a post on that coming up soon. I did want to let our listeners know, and I'm assuming that this is going to be up before the end of the week. One of the events that we sponsor every year is the Junior Auxiliary Day at the Derby fundraiser, and that's one of their largest fundraisers. They're having an online auction since they can't have the event, and they've got some great packages supporting local businesses and also some travel packages that are out there that you can bid on, though. If you search Junior Auxiliary of DeSoto Day at the Derby, there's an event page on Facebook, and you can also go to their website if you Google them and enter that to auction. It's easy to do. They've got some great stuff like a trip to Belize, a trip to Costa Rica, some gift certificates to local restaurants, a pellet grill, things like that. So that auction will be going on until May 2nd at 10 p.m. So I've bid on things today, so I encourage y'all to do that. But
It's just not on the items that you bid on, right?
yeah, I'm hoping I can lock down a couple a cheap vacation. But
For
hopefully,
you and the wife to go to Costa Rica and leave the kids back here?
yeah. Well, there
I just need to bid on meals delivered.
meals delivered. Yeah, that's
Do you
big.
have toilet paper in there and paper towels?
That would have been a good idea if they did.
A pellet grill, that sounds pretty cool too.
I know. But it's a worthwhile organization that supports children in DeSoto County, and y'all please go out there and take a look at that. And we've got an app promotion going on, and hopefully we'll be able to catch
For two more
listeners
days.
for
I'm
2
gonna
more days.
I'm gonna have this podcast posted by Tuesday, April 28th at night. I want to say about 5 p.m. Well, but it'll be up. So there'll be 2 more days to catch this. You pay your bill with the mobile app that you can get for free on Google Play or the App Store, iTunes, and we will enter your name into a drawing for a $50 bill credit. So we're really trying to offer that as the ultimate social distancing tool.
Yes.
If it's your phone, hopefully you're the only one using it. You don't have to handle any money or use the family computer to pay the utility bills.
And that app is great, especially if you're budget minded. You can monitor your usage and manage your account through that app. So please download that and take advantage of that giveaway. And lastly, Justin, we alluded to an award, and y'all will see this in the Today in Mississippi. Justin was awarded a Spotlight for Excellence Award through our National Trade Association in RECA. And that was for the Musicians for Le Bonheur project, and national recognition in the gold category for that, and congratulations as well.
Congratulations, Justin.
Thank you. It's
A major award.
I'm very proud of it because you compete with hundreds of electrical co-ops throughout the country, and so it was really cool to get that. And they informed me right before they canceled the event where I would be collecting that award, so I can't go to Denver to get it. But it's not just me; it is the North Central employees that have supported this project, and the musicians that got me submitted their music. But our employees that have donated an afternoon to visit Le Bonheur and see these musicians perform and give the kids a gift bag and share a smile and all that. And I think everyone in this room has been to visit Le Bonheur last summer, and let me just say, we are itching to get back. Right now, we cannot visit the hospital, we can't bring music, but we will be as soon as we possibly can. So we'll be arranging for that. So the project's going to keep going, and I'm happy that we got the award, and I'm happy that we're expanding this like we have. So
And I got to get my picture taken with the members of Free World.
that's the only thing that you wanted.
I wanted you to receive your recognition.
Well,
through the
I
award,
appreciate
though, of
that.
course.
No, I appreciate that, but it's a group effort. I just do the logistics.
Well, it was well earned, and
Thank you.
congratulations
Thank
to you.
All right, so keeping as we continue on and we're getting to seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with this COVID-19 and the closures and the Stay Safer at Home initiatives. Just keep yourself informed with good sources. Be patient with each other, and we'll keep you updated what's happening here on our social media pages, on our website, all that good stuff. So if that's it, we will close out this podcast.
That's it.
All right.
Thanks.
Tune in. Hopefully next month. I mean, we might if we have a big enough change, we might do an impromptu podcast. But yeah. So, all right.